So, as always, my first focus for this month is to look at Market Watch. Now, we are in still this period of stability. We still have a Bank of England base rate at 5.25%. It's been there since August of last year now. So what's that, 7 or 8 months? And so there is definitely this sort of clamour, growing pressure from commentators to say, okay, Bank of England, you ratcheted up the rate to 5.25 in 14 consecutive months, and now we've plateaued for 7 or 8 months. Come on, surely we now got to go. We've down the other side of the mountain into the valley, and get the benefits. And I get why there's growing sort of vocals from various commentators for that to happen. However, I said it last month, and nothing's changed from where I'm sitting, that I don't see the Bank of England dropping rates anytime soon. We've got a meeting on the 21st of March with the Bank of England, so we'll know for sure then. But my view is that we're going to see this plateauing for a number of months to come. And why is that? Well, inflation, as if you listen to me month in, month out, then I always link inflation to this conversation, because essentially that's what the Bank of England are focusing on, and they're using rates as a tool to try and manage as best they can the inflation rate. And of course it has been dropping. It's currently at 4%, and the target is 2%. And as it gets closer to that 2% target, that's when I see the Bank of England starting to reduce their rate. However, even though I see that over the next month or two, the inflation rate will still drop a little further, we've got a blip to deal with. And you and I should know that this blip is forecast. It's not going to be a shock or a surprise, and this blip will mean that inflation's going to rise again. So when you hear that happening, and you get the Daily Mail headlines saying that the sky's falling in and the wheels are falling off and everything's going to hell in a handcart, you and I know that that's not the case at all. It's just a bit of sensationalism to try and get more people to, subscribe or whatever, watch their particular website, etc. However, my view is that the Bank of England will want us to get through this little blip, and it's only going to be temporary. We're talking about 3-4 months perhaps, around Q3 of this year, where inflation may rise again before it falls as we head towards the end of the year. And my view right now is that the Bank of England will want to see inflation go through this blip and then fall sustainably. Sustainably is the word I would use, towards the 2%, and we may end up with inflation under 3% towards the end of the year. And if it follows that trajectory, and I'm going to talk about reasons why it may not, for things out of their control in a second, but if it does follow that trajectory, then I think that's when the Bank of England will have more confidence that we're on that sustainable decrease back towards a 2%, and start to bring that 5.25 down accordingly. Now, as much as the Bank of England are trying all these different levers and tools to bring inflation down, the one major thing that impacts inflation is completely out of the Bank of England, and indeed outside the UK's control, and that's our friend, using inverted commas, Putin, and what Russia are doing in terms of trying to destabilise the sort of Western world with food prices, with energy restrictions, and of course the ongoing Russian-Ukraine war. These are such a major factor. In fact, Andrew Bailey, who's the governor of the Bank of England, has actually now gone on record saying that the Russian shock, as they call it, so they've even given it a name now, the Russian shock, is the largest single contributing factor to what's happening with UK inflation. So therefore, it's, from that point of view, it's completely out of our control. It'll be what it'll be in the short term. However, notwithstanding that there's no major surprises on that front, more than that we're knowing already, then hopefully inflation will start to drop after this blip later on this year. And therefore, from a mortgage rate point of view, we'll start to see mortgage rates coming down. Now, mortgage rates might actually start to drop. And I'm talking about secondary lenders here. I've talked in February and in January about the reduction of buy-to-let and indeed residential rates from the major banks and building societies. So I'm separating that, put those to one side, because usually our larger landlords are not going to the high street anyway. We're going to the secondary lenders. And if you're in limited company mortgages, then you're also going to secondary lenders. So it's that category of lender I'm talking about, that they should be able to start to drop rates towards the back end of the year as well. At the same time, if not slightly before, the Bank of England start to drop interest rates, because if confidence is there, as reflected in swap rates, I won't talk about that too much today, then as we start to see swap rates dropping, then that's when the mortgage rates will start to come down. And so, again, I'll keep you abreast of that as we go on this year. So the takeaway message on this point is that if you get your mortgages from the secondary lenders, do not sit on your hands. Don't sit on your fence expecting major cuts in mortgage rates from the secondary lender market. We're not going to see them, so do make your decision. If you're about to go onto SVR and thinking, should I wait because interest rates might drop soon, because the Bank of England might be dropping rates soon, I genuinely don't see that happening. If I were you, I would be making those decisions and jumping onto the next deal right now, because I don't see dropping mortgage rates, not significant drops, until quarter 3, quarter 4 of 2024.